Welcome to the Beauty Moves podcast. I am your host, Coyetta Tamara, and your guide on this transformative journey. This podcast is your ultimate destination for inspiration, actionable strategies, and real talk conversations about building a successful business while becoming the best version of yourself. We'll dive into topics that empower you to elevate your skills, grow your brand, and navigate the challenges of entrepreneurship with confidence. You'll hear from industry experts, learn the secrets behind thriving businesses, and discover the mindset shifts that will set you apart in a competitive world. So whether you're starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, you're in the right place. Together, let's take bold action and make your vision a reality. Let's make beauty moves. Welcome to another episode of Beauty Moves Podcast. I am your host, Coyetta Tamara. I hope you all are having an amazing day. I must say, I have been having fun getting back into the podcasting space. It's been fun. Now, others have been asking me about getting on camera. I don't know about that just yet, just because when you're not on camera, you can just be and look however you want to look. Getting on just requires a whole process, and I'm not ready for that just yet. You know, in the future, I hope to get into a podcasting space and do something like that. But for now, I'm comfortable, and I like it this way. Yeah. So we're going to get into something that I think we need to get back to. Being high performing business owners and people and high functioning people, sometimes we can get caught up in the everyday motion of life, the everyday tasks, business plans, business ideas, business goals, business targets, and lose sight of the things that bring creativity and inspiration, the things that feel joyful, the things that put you back into a childlike state, not in the worst way, like in the best way, right? I think for me, I realized that life felt so at a young as a young adult. I think I was so hyper focused on becoming this person that in my older stages, it's like I've regressed a little bit. Like I'm like, yeah, let's have fun now, because I spent so much of my young adult stage being so serious and so focused and goal oriented that I kind of feel like I missed out on some fun things, on like joy and wonder. Not to say I was unhappy and I didn't live life, but when you're so hyper focused, sometimes you miss the simple things about joy and life. And I want to focus today on just the idea of wonder, experiencing wonder, right? Experiencing wonder. Do you recall being a child, like being a kid and going off into like the forest or going to the park and like playing? Boy, kids have a timing, huh? I was just talking about being in a childlike state and my daughter comes in and knocks on my door. Anyway, back into the podcast, just the idea of, using your imagination as a young person and like all the wonderful things you would come up with as a kid, right? It's such an amazing thing. And I think we lose that as we get older, as life becomes more serious, the idea that it's no longer a state we should be in. You're an adult, grow up. Those are the things that you hear. And you should grow up because, the responsibilities are bigger, they're different. But I don't want us to lose a sense of wonder, right? Because we're always diving into business spaces as business owners. And not everything that you read or, take in should be about business. As I said, sometimes we get so caught up in business that we lose our sense of wonder. And losing your sense of wonder could kill creativity, joy, peace, and motivation, right? Because as you get bigger, the more money you make, the more, expansion that you see yourself in or that's happening, there has to be something that allows you to tap into your created self that has nothing to do with how you make your money. I know there are a sect of people that are very, like, how they make their money is their creative outlet. Like, they're into it hardcore, like, that is them. And that's cool. But that's not a lot of people. Some people want and need that creative outlet. So you have to have something outside of that that allows you to find that. And that's the space I'm in. I'm finding that as I'm getting older, I'm trying to reconnect with the things that bring me joy, that reconnect with the things that bring me peace, that brings me to that space where I'm thinking again in a creative way, where I'm, looking into myself deeper and finding quiet moments that bring me immense joy and peace. Because this will draw energy, it will help you draw energy, strength, and it will be a place where you can draw bold ideas from. So don't ever lose your sense of wonder, because sometimes you have to turn your business brain off and tap into that inner child. Sit down with her for a little bit. Talk to her, feed her, laugh with her, and she'll return the favor to you in dividends. I've heard people say, like, when they step back from business and they, have that time to spend with their inner self, allow God to talk to you. Allow Holy Spirit to download some things on you when you do that as well. That's also a reason why you have to be in a state of wonder, right? But I've heard and experienced that for myself when I'm in that mode, getting downloads, getting ideas, like having things happen to you that otherwise wouldn't happen if you weren't tapped in, right? Because we can get so caught up and lose our zest and love for what we do. People lose what they love. They lose that love and that light for it. Because I can remember a time where I've been so tightly wound up about business and the numbers and the deadlines and all the things that I felt burnt out. I felt depleted. I felt unhappy. I was tired. I was edgy. I was short. My family felt that. I'm going to be real. They felt that. And my body felt that. And when you're in that state, you can start to associate your business with stress, your business with being with anxiety. And each time I thought about it, that's how I felt. And quite frankly, I was ready to be like, yo, wrap this up. I don't want to do this again. I don't want to be involved in business. Even though the calling is there, it's a strong calling inside of my body, but it was just so much heaviness that I just was ready to put it away. Because what happens is your business becomes synonymous with negative feelings and emotions. And why do you want that? Anything negative you're going to want to hide from. And that's what I was doing. And so that's why we have to take time out to find things that you love to do, whether it's read, cook, go for a walk, shop in moderation, buy yourself that special thing once every couple months or whatever it is. You have to find that again. Find that love again. Find that peace. Find that space again. So it's like falling in love, right? Things are great. That whole experience, it's like falling in love. Things are great. When you first start, it's fairy tales. It's all the bubble guts and everything hard and the things that could become annoying, it feels cute, right? Because the love pheromones are in full effect, y'all. Anything that could be annoying, just, oh, that's so cute. Oh my gosh. You know? And then it starts to wear a little bit because you're so into it. Cracks are starting to show, but you ignore them a little bit because you're like, yeah, that's a little bit annoying, but I love him. I love him so much. Right? You explain everything away until one day you realize that this thing is not what you thought it was. And it starts to bring more questions than answers. Right? And those thoughts become the thing you take a hold of. You focus on it. You focus on it. You hold on to all the questions. You hold on to the questions. You ain't got no answers. You just got a whole bunch of questions. And every day you wake up, you're repeating those questions. What about this? What about this? And you become blinded by the what ifs. And it starts to overtake you. And you want to run away from it. That's what it feels like sometimes. That's feeling drained, uninspired, or like you're running on autopilot in your business. It might be time for a reset. I've put together something simple yet powerful. A challenge designed to help you step back, realign, and reconnect with what truly fuels you. No pressure, no overthinking, just a much needed pause. If you're curious about what this could mean for you, head to the link in the show notes. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. What we put ourselves through when we're so hyper focused in about business and numbers. I've heard people I follow, like I am, like friends in my heads, Jericia, those type of people, like I've heard their stories and they often go through this. They've mentioned going through this, their stage. And I think it's, as I said, because we lose that connection. So even if the business is good, right? Or the relationship is good, you've lost your focus. Because the focus is now taken away from the actual matter of business into all the questions you have. And it feels like you're trapped versus a feeling of freedom. Your business can feel like a trap. You can start to feel trapped in your business if you're not careful. Right? And I'm sure we're in business to help people. That's and also for freedom. And also for the freedom it allows us to have. But what if you no longer feel that? What if you no longer feel the freedom? And all you feel is dread. And as I said, I know how it feels because I've been there. And this can happen even in corporate spaces. So we must develop good, healthy habits and lifestyles that feed us, that gives us life, and gives the brain the serotonin and dopamine it needs to regulate our bodies properly and promote joy, right? It should not be just about hitting a certain income or material things. And I'm not saying these are not nice, because the scope becomes then too narrow and it doesn't take into account the human elements of life, a family, children, wives, husbands, kids' activities, unforeseen circumstances, health and extended family issues, and I could go on. And in all of that, where do you come in? Because we all know life can life, y'all. One thing about life is it's going to life. It's going to give you life all day. Right? And so where do you come in all of life, in the business, in the this and the that? Like, where do you fit in? Where does your mental health and well-being factor in? I know people that have gotten divorces, they've experienced breakdowns, burnouts, and as a result, they are wealthy and unhappy, or they've had to close their business. They've lost their spark in the midst of everything. Right? When you have work and when you love something, it's the worst thing to love something and lose the love for it. It's the worst thing to love something and lose the love, the joy, the spark for it. So that's why it's really important that you keep yourself in a place of wonder, in a place of ever exploring, where you're feeding yourself. So I want you to focus on a few things. So reconnecting with yourself beyond business. That's the 3 layers of wonder. That's what we're going to look at right now, what we're going to look at. So it's reconnecting yourself beyond your business. And you're going to do that because you want to keep your spark alive and prevent burnout. How do we do that? You need structure, but flexible. You need to be structured, but have a flexible approach to reconnecting with joy, right? So you can do that by taking small breaks. Go for a walk, listen to a podcast, read a book, something different from what you normally read, like fiction. Listen to a song from your childhood, or, you know, have a goal that's outside of your business. So take intentional time to do something that sparks curiosity and excitement without a business outcome. And I'm working on this right now, I must tell you. So an example of this could be taking a dance class, going to an art exhibit, trying a new hobby, cooking something new, or just do something fun, right? And you can do this by also disconnecting from work to deeply recharge and tap into something bigger. And I do this. I unplug for the weekend, baby, right? So it could be unplugging, a retreat, or a solo trip, or something that you've been trying to work on for a while, right? So I encourage y'all to do the business detox challenge. I encourage y'all to do that, and I'm going to touch on that later. Okay, so let's look at the inner child. So we got to reconnect with her, and sometimes the best way to unlock with creativity is to reconnect with what made you happy as a child. I have this whole thing that I go through, this booklet that I have that connects back to that inner child, because that's where everything really is. The connections that you make from childhood to now that you can, see and tap into, right? So ask yourself this: what did I love doing before I cared about money or success? What did I love doing that I cared about money or success? And number 2, what made me feel alive and free? And what's one way I can bring that back into my life today? So if you love painting as a child, like I'm on the internets and I see a lot of people going, doing adult coloring books, and I think that's fantastic. You know, it's actually fantastic. So reconnecting with that. So if you love painting as a child and you haven't done that in a long time, you can buy a small canvas or buy a coloring book and do that. Play some music, drink a little wine, and unwind that way, or tap in that way. And you can also reframe success beyond your business, because success is mostly wrapped up in business. And I can definitely attest to that because that has been me. I'm like, what am I without this? But let's reframe that. Instead of thinking, did I accomplish enough today? Ask, did I experience joy today? Instead of asking, what is the next goal? Ask yourself, what's energizing me right now? Big questions, big questions. And so let's get into the business detox challenge. So you can implement this in 72 hours. Okay, so for the next 72 hours, here it is: no business books, podcasts, or work related content. And I try to do this as well for myself. But I'm an overthinker, so that's another episode. So no business books, podcasts, or work-related content. Number 2, consume and do things that inspire you just because. Consume and do things that inspire you just because. Just because. Why? Just because. Pay attention to how you feel by the end. And reflect what brought you the most joy and why. And how can you integrate more of that into your routine? We got to create routines for joy, for wonder. And don't lose that, because those things we do is what's going to profit us later, whether it be a financial gain, emotional gain, spiritual gain. It's going to profit you. It's going to pay off later. So take that up, the Business Detox Challenge, and let me know, repost, like, share. I want to know how that's felt. And I'm going to talk more about this on socials. I want y'all to really dive into that. I'm excited. We'll talk next time. Bye. Thank you for tuning into the Beauty Moves podcast. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment, as this helps improve my ranking. Take care. Until next time.